Hello and welcome back. Today what I would like to talk about is how we can bring ourselves back to a place where we feel more grounded, secure, and stable when anxiety and stress seems to be taking hold. We've all been in those situations where we feel this frenetic, buzzing, panic-stricken, and frantic, right? It's not pleasant and not a state we want to be in too often. This state usually involves a situation occurring, and then we become swept away by our thoughts and our emotions, which start to coil around and around in a cycle of panic and eventually exhaustion. Being in this state does not enable us to make sound decisions or see things clearly. We're usually experiencing rapid heart rates, breathing rates, sweating, that sick feeling in the pit of our stomach. You can probably relate to this, right? So how do we ground ourselves when experiencing this unpleasant state? How do we drop our anchor and bring ourselves back to a place in which we can begin to siphon through what is occurring and what we may need to do? I'm sure you've come across people in your life that seem impervious to the daily dramas and rocky aspects of life, right? Maybe you've thought that grounding involves control, and those that seem to glide through life have greater control over their lives. Now, what if I was to let you know that being grounded and dropping anchor is actually related to letting go of the control, to enable things to flow? Not convinced? Now, in actual fact, the more you try to control or resist situations, dramas, events that occur in your life, the more turbulence and rockiness you will experience. You may try to control conditions by insisting that they be different or wanting to change it. Sound familiar? Going over and over it in your mind, wishing it not to be as it is, wishing it to go away. Maybe you imagine different situations in your mind in which the situation is the way you wish it to be rather than what it is. Ironically, the more you let go of the need to control the situation, the more power you will have and the more grounded you will be. The key to being grounded and having an anchor is acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean the situation is okay, but you can accept it as occurred as it is. This then frees you to ground yourself and to anchor into the present moment as it is, to make personal choices, to choose how you wish to respond. To achieve a state of grounding is to stay connected to the present moment, the reality and facts of what is occurring without being swept away by thoughts or emotions. Often easier said than done, I realize this. But with practice, you can learn some simple strategies to help you achieve a sense of grounding or dropping anchor when you need to. Now, sometimes it's easier to start to learn grounding strategies by attempting to ground yourself or drop anchor from a physical perspective. This often moves your focus away from the overactive mind to the physical body. This can have an almost instant calming effect, and it's a good place to start. Now, there are many physical grounding strategies, and it may be that you need to try out a few before you find the one that's most effective for you. You can start with your feet, and you can be sitting down or standing. You want to spend 2 to 5 minutes bringing your full attention to the bottom of your feet. Pay attention to every sensation and name the sensations in your mind. Maybe you feel heat or cold or heaviness or lightness, stability, whatever it may be. Name it. You can try the rooted tree. This involves standing with your feet shoulder width apart, chin slightly tucked, and spine straight. Try to elongate your spine so the crown of your head is floating above your body. Rest your hands loosely by your sides. Now sink all of your body weight into your feet without collapsing your upright posture. Imagine roots growing out from the soles of your feet into the ground beneath you, extending deep into the ground. Now attempt this for 5 to 10 minutes. Another physical strategy is to sit down and place one or both hands on your heart space. You're now going to attempt to slow your breathing rate down. You're now going to attempt to slow your breathing rate down. You want to breathe in for a count of 5, hold for a count of 5, and then breathe out fully for a count of 7 to 10. It's important that you count silently, as this keeps your mind occupied. Take deep breaths of air that fill your belly. And when you exhale, do this fully until you have no more air to breathe out. You want to continue this for practicing for at least 5 to 10 minutes to have its full effect on your body and your mind. You can also use your 5 senses to ground and anchor yourself in the moment. Use sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell to bring you to the present moment. The best way to do this is to find a seat and start to bring your full attention to naming 3 things in each of your sensory categories. For instance, name 3 things you can see, then 3 things you can hear and you can feel. Now, some people also find benefit from using an anchoring phrase and repeating it to themselves whenever they feel their mind is becoming caught up in the whirlwind. For example, someone may repeat to themselves, "I'm here, I'm present." It's about choosing a phrase that makes sense to you and gives you the feeling of coming back to the here and now. There are so many more grounding strategies we could talk about, such as listening to a particular piece of music, focusing on someone else. List 5 things you're grateful for. Do some form of exercise. Use a journal to write down your thoughts. You can see there's multiple strategies to use. It is very personal what will work for you. So it's important to try a mix of different strategies until you find 3 to 4 you feel comfortable with. And remember, these strategies will be difficult, and it might seem that you will never feel grounded, but keep going, keep persevering. And despite the fact that I don't like to say I guarantee, well, I strongly think you will find at least one strategy that helps. At its crux, grounding is about loosening the grip on the situation and the spiraling thoughts. This then gives rise to clarity and the ability to choose how best to respond. Now, thanks very much for listening and watching, and I'll definitely see you in the next video. Well, you'll see me. But thank you very much for watching, and mindfully yours, grounding yours, anchoring yours. Bye for now.